Hello everybody, welcome to Vigilant Citizen. My name is Josh. Apologies if I've got any weird shadows or anything across my face. I was moving around on this table out here in the, I guess we're calling this a cabana. It's not really a pergola, it's not really a pagoda, it's more of a cabana. But I was messing around here and trying to get my usual angle, but then all these shadows were across my face and everything. It just looked kind of weird. I don't know if I've gotten it any better. I don't know if it's any better right now. Kind of hard to work with it when the sun hangs so low in the sky, and it's warm out here and there's no clouds or anything, so you can barely tell it's December. It looks like an afternoon, like a summer afternoon based on the shadows. Anyway, thanks for joining. As you can see, I've got some books out here, meticulously, carefully placed in front of you so that you can see them, and you can see some of my, now I wouldn't say necessarily my favorite books, but just some of the ones that I've enjoyed over the past 4, 5, 6 years, something like that. I think I mentioned this in a previous video, I've really started to enjoy reading nonfiction books as opposed to fiction books. I only have one fiction book out here. It's Ayn Rand's Atlas Shrugged, which, as you can tell, I am currently reading, as evidenced by the bookmark. This thing is huge. Let's see if you can see this on the video. Look at the print on this. Look at the print. Look how small that is, right? This is a long book. I've been reading it for over a month now. I try to take some time every day to read. There are some weeks and sometimes, to be honest, some months where I don't accomplish that, but I really enjoy getting up and reading in the morning with breakfast. Especially books, especially physical books. I don't know what it is about it. I can't get into electronic copies of books like the Kindle edition or even just PDFs or something. There's something about being able to flip through and go back. Sometimes, for example, I was reading Atlas Shrugged this morning, and they were one of the characters was referring to a previous incident in the book, so I was able to just quickly go like this and be like, oh yeah, that's what he's referring to. Okay, now I know what he's talking about. You can't really do that in a Kindle edition. But that's not what I'm here to talk to you about today. I want to talk to you about just the general concept of reading and taking time to read. I know in today's digital modern age, that can be off-putting. It can be distracting, or feels distracting, and it feels like it takes a lot of time. It's a big investment. I mean, even just what I'm talking about here. Look at that. You can tell what the time investment is before you even pick it up, and so it can be off-putting. You look at it, whereas you could just go on YouTube and watch some videos for 10 seconds each. But before you know it, you've spent 2 hours watching YouTube on stuff that may or may not matter, and that's okay. I do that sometimes. I have these channels that I watch that are just for fun, that are just kind of background and just help me, pass the time a little bit because I enjoy them, and that's totally fine. Don't get me wrong with that. What I really want to encourage is, in some sense, using reading as, I guess, meditation. I've heard people talk about meditating and how much it helps them and things like that, but I've never found that to be particularly useful for me. My mind is always moving, it's always going, I'm always thinking about what am I doing, why am I here, what's the meaning of life, does God exist, right? All those kind of things. And it's difficult for me to just let my mind be quiet. And I don't know if that's good or bad, but I do know that afterwards, if I just try to remain quiet, I would just naturally start thinking through things, trying to process through things. And I think for me, that's good. I think personally for me, that's good. For others, it might be quiet, peaceful, leaving everything out of your mind and things like that. For others, it's prayer, right? Another way for me, like I'm saying, is reading. So instead of emptying my mind of all thoughts, I like to fill it with thoughts that aren't stressful thoughts, aren't things that make me worry. I'm not encouraging you to sit around and think about things that are outside of your control, or things that make you worried, or things that cause you anxiety. I'm talking about parsing through, what are the mechanics of life? What does it mean to be an actor in this world? How do things work, right? It doesn't even have to be philosophical. I've got a couple, let's see, what book do I have here that I'm showing off? The Amateur's Mind. My little brother got this for me for birthday, Christmas one year, and this is just how do you play chess better? How do you get better at chess, right? This one's a tough one because you basically need to set up a chess board and run through all the different positions to understand what they're talking about. So I haven't made it all the way through this yet, especially in the middle of a move. I didn't have anywhere really to set up a chessboard. So maybe here soon I'll try to find a way to get back into that one. But I find it really beneficial to hear the thoughts. These are gifts, right, from other people throughout the ages. I've got things, I've chosen some of these specifically for that point, right? I've got Thomas Paine's Common Sense here, written in the 1700s, before America even declared its independence. And I think, the Constitutional Convention, one of the most eye-opening books. This was written by James Madison himself. The notes he took during the Constitutional Convention in, 1787? And I think that these are just gifts from our forebears, from the people who came before us with all of their thoughts and ideas. I think there is a pervasive and horrible thought process these days that comes along with postmodernism, that we would have achieved what we've achieved, and we would be where we are today regardless of what these people thought and what they went through. And that's completely wrong. It's not magic. This is science. When you hear people say trust the science, there is a science in the way men think and the way men have presented their ideas and vetted them throughout the course of human history, and they have been captured in books, and these are gifts. And we would be, our future would be fraught, and it will be fraught with peril if we choose to ignore what the men before us have bestowed upon us in these gifts, by giving us the ability to see their thoughts and contemplate their thoughts through the written word. So I really enjoy parsing through them, and I've found it beneficial over my life just to find stuff, especially lately, like I said, nonfiction. You can get some of this from fiction too. Ayn Rand's Atlas Shrugged, you could say this is a philosophical treatise in narrative form. I have another example of that here, the Phoenix Project, which is, this is how you get your information technology department working a little bit better, and it's presented in a narrative form. I have another one called The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team, which is about leadership, and that goes through how do you get a team working better through your use of leadership, and how do you find those dysfunctions of a team through, once again, a narrative approach, I suppose. So don't discount fiction. I'm not trying to do that here. I think every single one of these books that I've read came at the right time in my life. If I had read Ayn Rand's Atlas Shrugged, this is hitting me hard. This is a very good book, and not because it's an interesting story filled with lots of plot twists and turns. There's some twists and turns, there's some mysteries, they're pretty obvious what's coming. But just the philosophical underpinnings that are being presented in the book. If you read this book as strictly a story to read, you're gonna miss the point. And so I'm glad I did not read this when I was in high school or even in college, probably not even like 2 years ago. That would have been the wrong time. This came at the right point in time in my life. And so you may find that some of the books you're reading, if you start reading, if you're not already, are not hitting you, and they're not meaningful, they're not impactful. Maybe that's not a good book, but maybe it's not coming in the right time of your life. I'm seeing so many parallels in this one to our modern society that it's actually kind of mind-blowing. She wrote it in 1957. And I think it's important, right? Sorry, I lost. You ever have that moment where you have like two trains of thought in your mind, and then your brain is on this one, and then it suddenly just hops to that one, and you're caught in the moment, like, okay, where was I? What was I saying? And how do I move through this moment without appearing like a dummy? Sometimes the best way to do it is just to call it out and let everybody know. I'm in a leadership position at my work, and a lot of times I'll do this in front of people, and that's what I'll do. I'll just call it out, because we're all human, and they get it, and if they don't get it, then maybe they're not human. Anyway, I lost my train of thought. I apologize if I was going somewhere interesting and I lost it. So, but I think I was talking about fiction. Don't discount fiction. I've had a lot of fun reading fiction books over the years, and did I get a lot out of it philosophically? Did I learn some things? I mean, maybe some of them taught me some things. Some of them Michael Crichton's novels are really good. Did I not bring? That's a mistake. I should have brought. He's my favorite author. He was taken away from us way too soon. I wish he was still around and offering his novels. Prey, Jurassic Park, Sphere. Sphere is my favorite fiction novel. That is a great book, and those are chock full of things that you can learn. He was really into physics. He was a doctor, and all of his books contain information about the physical, real world that you can actually learn from. So very, very interesting stuff. I'll never forget, I read Jurassic Park, I watched Jurassic Park, favorite movie, not my favorite novel, Sphere is, and then I took math courses. I got a math degree, and I got into differential equations, and I was learning all of these things about differential equations, and it started going into chaos theory, predator-prey models, which show up in the novel Prey, and my mind was just blown. I was like, there's so many different things to learn, so many different things to understand about the world. Most of these that you can see are about people and how to engage with people, because I believe that's what makes history, right? But there's still so many things to learn about the world that you can gain from even fiction novels and other sort of entertainment, things packaged as entertainment that can make it more digestible. So, I'm really getting excited just talking about it. I guess I've forgotten just how much I love to read, and I highly encourage it. Maybe reading, and here's the thing I go back and forth on. I thought about this before starting this video. Should I encourage you to do the actual reading, to pick up words on a page and read those and contemplate those and understand those? Or should I also encourage, if you don't have time, or maybe you have a long commute every day, use audiobooks instead? And I think I would. I think I would encourage that as well. Maybe reading is a little more difficult for you, or for whatever reason you can't find the time, or it's not enjoyable for you to sit in a chair and read for a bit. I can lose myself for hours, right? But if you can't, maybe an audiobook is the right way, because then you're still getting that information, or even podcasts. I think there is something to be gained from reading the words on a page. I think it helps you ingest these words a little bit better, and you can actually make your vocabulary better. And it might make you sometimes a better orator, or even just a better writer, because now you have an understanding of words, of sentence structure, how to grammatically put things together, how to formulate a thought, how to package those thoughts and structure them so that they end up in a logical conclusion. And I can tell you for sure it's helped me. It's helped me wonders. My ability to write emails at work, that sounds silly, right? Oh, I can write great emails. But there is an art and a craft to communication, and you can learn that through written communication, and you can learn that from reading books. So I think there's a little bit more to be gained from that. But if you can't, for whatever reason, or won't for whatever reason, read a physical book or a Kindle book, try audiobooks. There's lots of great services. I think libraries are starting to allow you to check out audiobooks, which I don't know exactly how that works. My wife knows all of that. She does all that. She loves the audiobooks. She's reading like 4 or 5 books at a time. It's mostly fiction, but she's reading Ordinary Men right now, or trying to. That's a very difficult one, and I don't blame her for that. So I think I will leave it at that. I could sit here and talk about this for forever, just like every other topic, right? I feel like I end every single video with that. I could talk about this for hours. I like to give just little snippets, and maybe it'll be cause for creating more conversation down the road. So if you're not reading right now, think about picking it back up. Find a topic that really interests you in nonfiction form, or in fiction form. See if there's something that touches on that topic that you can get into, and start reading. It's good for you. It's good for your mind, your body, your soul. It's like feeding your spirit in some sense. The way your body needs physical nourishment, your mind needs spiritual nourishment, and you can find that by hearing the words of other great people who've come before us, or who are still with us today, right? So, okay. I said I was going to wrap it up there. Now I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you so much for your time. If you have any comments or thoughts, leave them below. Send me an email if you want. I'm always happy to read them. Other than that, thanks for your time. See you next video.